Welcome back. Love Boat Project episode 34. I am Mike Robertson, joined as always by Mike Taylor. Mike, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. My favorite of all the holidays, by the way. I love Thanksgiving.
On a boat?
No. I take issue with the way this holiday was celebrated. No.
They did have a chicken. There's a chicken.
There's a chicken.
Thank God he's not a turkey. It does seem crowded in here, like a Santini lunch cabin. It's because we have our returning champion, our good friend Jim Prouix. Jim, welcome back.
Welcome back, sir.
Hey, what's up, boys?
A lot has changed since you were here last, Jimmy. Jimmy was on the infamous Barry Keys episode, and I feel like Barry Keys has been brought up as much as any character. He's a big hit at Project Con as far as costumes. A lot of people wearing Barry Keys costumes.
Everyone's like, who's that jerk? The guy dressed like a jerk. That's Barry Keys.
But we went from a guy buttering his hand at a table to a literal, what felt like a standing ovation for a turkey at the end of this.
Yeah, that did happen.
A lot has changed.
Nothing about the episode felt like Thanksgiving. I mean,
no.
It was just funny. At one point they were like, "Happy Thanksgiving," and you're like, "This is Thanksgiving."
What about the miracle? What about the Thanksgiving miracle? Are we going to
you know what? I don't even remember the Thanksgiving miracle. I didn't see anything all that miraculous about this episode.
There was a gift of the Magi type of thing. There's a lot going on.
Funny now. This is our third holiday episode.
Yeah.
We had the Valentine's Day episode and we had a Halloween, and now we had
Christmas because remember he couldn't count to what?
Not counting Christmas because I don't think they had a Christmas sign.
Fair enough.
The last three holidays have had that same sign. They just do a still shot of this sign.
They just have a bunch of letters
presented by the chef, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. It is odd. Like I just don't think that would be a viable reason to go on a cruise or a viable cruise-worthy time of year. I just don't get
Valentine's Day, absolutely, but Thanksgiving,
I get that. No. New Year's, I get that. Halloween, even maybe.
But are you anti going out to dinner for Thanksgiving? Some people do that.
1,000%, Mike. 1,000%.
Okay,
that meal is to be made at home. So. I don't want to go, and I believe it's to be at home. You don't have to go out. Home.
Hey, listen, I split the difference the year of the pandemic. Shout out to Bruno's. Thanksgiving for two. By the way, it's weird when you just do Thanksgiving for two when you usually do Thanksgiving for like 20 because you end up eating way too much food. So
the year of the pandemic, I did Thanksgiving for one because I just made a turkey for me. I had leftovers for 7 months or something like that.
Did you get a standing ovation?
No, I mean, I gave myself a standing ovation.
There you go. That's the important
thing. I think we did a standard. I mean, granted, it was just, 4 of us?
Yeah.
2 of us, and I think only 3 of us had teeth at that point. So there's a lot of turkey, a lot of tryptophan. That's what we need. We can't go anywhere. Now we're super drowsy. And
obviously
needs to be taken care of.
All of the Thanksgiving leftovers to yourself was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah,
100.
That's the problem. See, that's
I don't know about your Thanksgivings, but the stuffing's always gone at my family Thanksgiving.
I double up.
I love stuffing, so
I like it. I'm with you. You have to make enough to cover. Yeah,
that's the problem with a boat Thanksgiving is you probably aren't getting leftovers.
Oh no,
it's zero leftovers.
You didn't see.
Well, there are a lot of problems with a boat Thanksgiving.
Well,
really,
it's true. They didn't really hit the worst one. So, but all right. As you can tell, we're here to talk about season 2, episode 9, the Thanksgiving episode, and the titles have nothing to do with Thanksgiving. The minister and the stripper, which I mean, talk about when I sent Jimmy the episode. What a hook!
Yeah,
I mean, not even exotic dancer, just straight up stripper.
Oh, we'll get into what they call her or don't call her. Into the episode. Her own 2 feet and Tony's family. So we got pretty literal on 2 of them, and I'm still not quite sure what the 2 feet one meant, but synopsis.
Well, I know what it meant. Synopsis. That storyline had some stuff going on in it.
Reverend Whitney's. Okay. Oh, by the way, this is pulled from IMDb. Michael, I know you enjoy when we decide if these are accurate synopsises. Let me give you a spoiler. This is not an accurate synopsis. So let's count the ways.
Okay.
Reverend Whitney's blind date faces scorn from parishioner Barbara Sharp. Not a blind date.
That wasn't a blind date.
No. Yeah, there was.
It was a random occurrence,
and then but never actually set them up.
Yeah,
right. They ran into each other pre-setup.
Right.
Bert helps his wife Audrey deal with her blindness. Wow. Yeah, that one's right. This one's terribly wrong. Princess engineer Tony's vacation plans change, so Julian Gopher invite his family on a free cruise.
Not true at all. That was a big. Was it $1,600? Is that what the total was?
It was not free. Right? Yeah.
No.
I mean, it might have.
That's not bad for. It's not bad for 7 people and a chicken. $1,500.
This is the first time we have gotten an actual price for the boat, so I was very excited about that.
Yeah.
Even though we have to factor in crew rates and child rates, we still at least have a sense of it. Yeah. And what I think I've determined from that price is I don't understand why the Hollywood elite are going on this cruise.
On the $36.73 per day cruise.
It's like, is that a Hollywood star on the megabus? So,
how do they afford the fuel to keep this boat going? Exactly. What, it's 600 people? I mean, right there. Boy,
well, this week it was 9 people, but
good call.
And a chicken.
Yeah.
Original air date November 18th, 1978, or is it? Sorry, IMDb. IMDb went with the Saturday the 18th. The keen-eye observer will note that, in fact, Saturday night, November 18th, on ABC at 9 o'clock, you were watching Battle of the Network Stars.
Oh, boy, that was awesome. I missed that.
I found the YouTube video of Battle of Network Stars that was on that night.
Fantastic.
And do yourself a treat and watch Howard Cosell introduce a bunch of TV stars from the late 70s. It is a treat.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say
a lot of shine.
I was hoping you'd say we should see Howard Cosell do the hammer toss. Look at him spin.
Mike, I'm going to give you some time to come up with your answers while we go through what else was on the actual night. But there were 2 former guests that we have seen so far on the Love Boat that appeared in that Battle of the Network Stars. So you take some time to think about that, and we'll get back to that at the end of what else was on.
Man or woman?
Both men.
Okay.
So that episode that was preempted by Battle of the Network Stars actually aired on Friday night, November 17th. We have not been on a Friday yet. Friday at 8 for the real squares.
That's
the reason it was on at 8 is because at 9, from 9 to 11, part 2 of the explosive epic of love, war. It's Pearl. Lives are shattered and loves are transformed by the fury unleashed on the attack on Pearl Harbor.
Oh, boy.
Starring Dennis Weaver, Angie Dickinson, Robert Wagner, Leslie Ann Warren.
It was just called
Heavy
Pearl?
Hitters.
Pearl. Yeah, just Pearl.
Okay.
I did not know what it was going to be when I looked it up. I was not actually expecting Pearl Harbor. So,
yeah, okay.
On NBC, The World Don't Move. It's the 3rd episode ever of Different Strokes, which we learned last week when we got stuck with Philip Drummond. This week, Mr. Drummond's mom arrives for an unscheduled visit, and guess that get this. She's got an adverse reaction to her son's new family dynamic.
Ah, wow.
Wait. She doesn't turn her nose up, does she, Mike? Is that
going well? Because it's the only episode that character appears on.
the least popular guest star ever. Well,
don't let that racist lady back on.
That's right, and never.
What you talking about, Mrs. Drummond? Not a return appearance. That's not what she's talking about for sure. So, 8:30 on NBC, The Rockford Files.
Love it.
Okay. Do you want to have a guess on what the episode titled The Empty Frame is about?
It's bowling.
I was going to say you got one of two things.
It's bowling or
art.
houses.
It is art. It's art.
It's art?
It's art. Rockford works.
Bowling makes so much more sense, though.
Rockford works to recover valuable paintings stolen from the new police commissioner by extremists. I'm going to bet that's an inside job.
That's an inside job.
Yeah.
It was you all along. Damn it, Jim.
What kind of police commissioner can afford expensive paintings?
Get off my back, Jim.
What kind of extremists are targeting art?
The Joker.
Could be.
Yeah, there you go. That's true. I didn't even think about the Batman connection.
Maybe the police commissioner was
commissioner's involved. There we go.
There it is.
Most importantly,
I love it. I know where we're going.
Shocked me. On CBS, Against the Love Boat, the original airing of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, amazing. Whoa.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
That is crazy.
I remember seeing that as a kid.
I saw it as a kid and had the appropriate reaction to it. I was like, I don't think I want to watch that ever again.
It was weird. Well, it's like when it was like Mark Hamill appeared on the Muppet Show as both Mark Hamill and Luke Skywalker. Like really blurring the lines, and it made me feel very uncomfortable. Like, let's not. I don't want the streams to cross.
Oh well, especially as a kid. Now you're just confused.
Yeah,
we all know who is among the stars of the holiday special is, of course, multi-time Stubby winner Diane Carroll.
Oh, she's a star among stars.
Yep. Michael, do you have guesses?
I do.
On the two former Love Boat guests
I have one
competed. Jimmy, you can guess as well.
JJ from Good Times.
Oh, incorrect.
Incorrect. All right.
He did. He died. I don't know if you heard. He died last week.
He was
barbecue fire.
You can't hear me anymore. Barbecue fire in his throat from eating gasoline.
Still undetermined.
Grant Goodeve, the singer of the 8 is Enough. Yeah.
Are you going to give me both, or you want me to say yes or no on that?
And then the other one, I don't know, but I know he's on TV a lot. I'm going to say Gary Collins.
Okay, 0 for 2.
Really?
It's really going to crush you with the one. So
if it's Barry Keys, spare me.
Oh God, can you imagine him running around? Billy Crystal is one of them.
As what? What was he doing? What athletic event? Baseball? Was he throwing a baseball?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched the introduction so I could come up with this question.
I don't know why it makes me mad that he
Billy Crystal, Robin Williams, and David Letterman were all on this.
All right.
Wow.
The second person is a Mike Taylor favorite who has been on multiple episodes.
Stubby?
Love Boat.
Okay.
0 stubbies because he wasn't particularly good on either episode. That would be that Spencer for Hire himself.
Oh, come on. Are you kidding me?
So worth a YouTube search just to see the beginning of Howard Cosell's introductions when he says that both one of the blondes from Dallas and Janet from Three's Company are that little spitfire.
Oh,
something like that. So
I will be watching that as soon as we hit stop on this podcast. I'm running to watch this.
Okay. Credits for this episode. We'll pair these guys off, June Allison and Van Johnson as Audrey and Burt Wilder. So apparently these guys were a very commonly teamed couple in the 40s and 50s in old movies. Mm-hmm. And I think with all the dramatic kind of music cues and all that kind of stuff, especially going to commercials, it kind of felt like that's what they were going for. So
I just want to say about June Allison, she was the spokesperson for Depends in 1984.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that I knew Depends were that old.
Yeah, I didn't either. Well, in 84. So I think she was like their first.
Wow.
Whatever that might be.
I hope she took to that quicker than she took to the cane.
She was. Yeah, I don't get, but yeah, that was her thing. And then you said also the Van Johnson, and we're going to see him 2 more times, man. 2 more times on the boat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of returning guests here, including. Well, let's get to him now. I know this is your guy because you love Mission Impossible.
I do.
Peter Graves as the Reverend Gerald Whitney. He'll be back in several episodes, including, Michael, the episode we're going to have to do from a boat. He's on the last episode.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So,
yet another reason to be excited about the last episode. All right.
Vivian Blaine played Barbara Sharp. Vivian Blaine was the lead female in Guys and Dolls with Brando and Sinatra. I thought her and her husband, Phil, were excellent.
I agree.
In this episode.
I agree.
And did you know who Phil was, Alan Young?
Yeah, I know he's a voice guy, and that kind of sent me, because his voice is so distinct.
Yeah.
Scrooge McDuck, Mickey's Christmas Carol in 1983. Did a bunch of other, I don't know where else. His voice is so familiar.
See, it's funny. Jimmy, did you know who he was?
No.
I did not know this to see him. I didn't know until I looked it up, but the name sounded familiar, and eventually the face made sense. He was Wilbur on Mr. Ed.
No kidding.
Which almost made me feel like the whole track thing was a wink.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Right. Because shouldn't the guy who can talk to a horse, of course, be the best at gambling horses? Of course.
Well, he certainly sounded like he spent enough time at the track. That's
sure. Turns out slots are his game. Who knew?
Who knew? With the money from a child. You degenerate gambler. Let me keep.
They did keep hitting on the fact that he was a degenerate gambler.
Oh.
Yeah. Another Mike Taylor favorite returns. Larry Storch.
Love him.
Playing against type, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
Tony Santini.
Who is this? Yeah. No, and I just want to note Larry Storch. He is either trying to get an Emmy or trying to get a stubby.
Yeah.
Because he is 1,000% in character. He's the loudest guy on set. He's just in it.
There are scenes where he is just going for it. Like he's going for like The Sopranos 20 years early. Like it's just.
He's at the Globe Theater. This is just so exuberant.
Sadly, this is it. Larry Storch would live to be 99 years old, but this would be it for the Love Boat. So 2 and done for the Storch.
But he works on the Love Boat.
That's true. He can never leave. He's indentured on the Love Boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Family just lives there now.
I have a lot.
The fact that it's Thanksgiving makes it even more ridiculous that they were like, you have to stay on the boat.
Yeah.
You can't I know that you planned a vacation, but you can't leave. We need you to work. He's like on his way off. That's like you being on your way out the office for Thanksgiving to go see your family, and your boss is like, sorry, I need you to work all weekend.
Right. Like, first of all, he's working overtime. He just got off of it. It's obviously holiday pay.
Sure.
It's probably double, at least time and a half.
Yeah, but
this is probably the only time he's been off in a while.
And you have the advantage because, as Julie said many times, they can't go if he says no.
Yeah.
So not only should he have not had to pay for the cruise, they should have paid him for another cruise or something like that. The Princess Line doesn't care about their workers.
Well, how about the family ended up paying for it, and it was billed like, hey, we'll sneak you on, we'll take care of it.
They were invited on to make up for the fact that the father was going to have to work the holiday.
And the ship wouldn't be able to leave if the father didn't work. So it's all tied to
Captain Stubby gets in there with his, there are rules and there are rules must be followed. And now all of a sudden, you've got to pay or else you're getting put out at the next port.
This is not a very
I was not fond of the captain in this one.
No,
and if you wait,
not a very captain.
He'll tell it to you in Spanish too. Who knew he was bilingual?
He speaks Italian in this episode too.
Finally,
or I think he tries to speak Italian.
I think he tried. Yeah.
Now we've already established multiple times already that IMDb did not have a great page for this, so I assumed they would be wrong, but I listened very diligently through the whole episode, and I don't think they are. Roz Kelly, listed as Reverend Whitney's girlfriend.
Yeah,
she never had a name.
They never give her a name. She's just the stripper.
So weird.
And the
Reverend
lady,
Whitney's girlfriend.
They do introductions. He gets to introduce himself. Why would they not give her a name?
It's too easy.
Well, do you know who she is? Do you know who that actress is?
Yeah.
Only because I looked it up. I knew she looked familiar, but I did not know.
Yeah. Pinky Tuscadero.
That's right. She was a big deal.
She was.
You know,
was that girlfriend? Was that the?
I think so. I mean, number one show on TV.
Fonz's girlfriend, and then apparently that storyline didn't work, so they went away from it. But I was reading a little tiny bit about her, and she was a little bit of she got into some trouble later on in life. She was arrested at one point for hitting somebody with her cane in like 1989.
Oh no.
Yeah, she Roz Kelly was a little adventurous.
I kept flashing back and forth between whether I thought she was good at this or not.
I'm in the same boat.
Well, they didn't give her a lot to do.
Yeah, but it felt like a meaty role. Like she should have been more like
Larry Storch.
They should have had like the stripper music when she came in the room.
Yeah, she should have been all in.
So in 1998, she was arrested for firing a 12-gauge shotgun into the living room window of a neighbor's house after a car alarm had awoken her. She also shot the neighbor's car and another nearby car.
Jeez.
That's a lot, Roz.
Where in South Philly does she live?
She in 2000, she was sentenced to 120 days in jail after pleading no contest to charges stemming from an arrest for hitting a man with her cane.
Hey, don't mess with Roz Kelly. I think that's the headline.
Man.
Good Lord.
That's the headline.
Reverend better watch.
I did like her introduction in this episode where Doc, she's not even on the boat yet, and Doc is like walking up and like, hey, you just got a little lost. You wouldn't have been a problem if you were in my cabin.
Hey, par for the course.
And they didn't even really lean on like the highlighting that it was the same person, which I do respect. Like, I like that make the boat feel a little bigger. Portal Report, I think we are basically in that whole classic photo pose now for the most part. People
very
are
consistent.
Like looking in, doing a little shtick. Not too much. We did get a smooch from Roz Kelly.
I saw that.
Yeah. Also got Peter Graves looks like they caught him trying to get into a room or something.
Yeah,
like,
it was a weird, huh?
So, what did you say what did you say he was known for? Because I only know
Mission Impossible, Airplane 2.
Yeah, I know him from Airplane. So when I watched the episode, like every time he's speaking very earnestly to this stripper who is now his girlfriend, I just hear the captain talking to the little boy about. Have you ever seen a naked man in the shower, Jimmy?
Yep. Yeah, we've had a bit of an uptick on Airplane recently.
Yeah.
We had Robert Hayes was on, and Leslie Nielsen's been on a couple times, and actually the daughter is the girl in the hospital bed. So
before we move on, I just wanted to mention one more cast member. Tony LaTorre played Angelo Santini, the non-English speaking.
The uncle.
Little background on that. Two highlights for Mr. Tony LaTorre. He appeared in 71 episodes of Cagney and Lacey as Harvey Lacey Jr. and also appeared in a show I'm very interested in now called Centennial.
Oh,
so
our good friends from Centennial.
I just would be I would be wrong not to bring that up. Great combination of shows that guy was on.
What was he in Cagney and Lacey? He was like Lacey's brother or dad or something?
Son?
Harvey Lacey Jr. I'm not sure who.
Okay.
It's the kid who gave the coins for the casino, right?
No. And
no, this is the uncle.
Wait, is Angelo the kid?
I thought Angelo was the kid, but I mean,
maybe
he is the kid. They could have multiple Angelos.
So maybe he played he played Lacey's son.
Who was Lacey? Was it Sharon Gless or was it Tyne Daly? I feel like we never know when we talk about.
I thought it was the same person. They just never showed him in the same room.
We talk so much about Sharon Gless that we have no idea. So.
I don't know.
Lacey was Tyne Daly.
Okay. Shame on me.
Sharon Gless was
shame on me. All right.
We got to get somebody from Cagney and Lacey on this show because
I demand a Tyne Daly appearance. And the sensei from the Karate Kid. Got to have it, man.
And Tony LaTorre was the kid.
Okay. I feel better now. That makes sense.
Lacey's son, maybe.
Okay.
I feel like I'm going to be safe in saying not future Stubby nominee for best kid.
No, I did not. I was not fond of this child.
He was so
everything's a miracle. Get out of here.
Showed up in every other room, like staring at you.
He was like Tiny Tim without that catchy blimp.
This is a singles bar posing as a cruise. Get the kid out of here.
Who let the kid in here? And that room would be full of smoke in the late 70s.
Oh yeah, there's not enough filth going on the love boat.
Phil Sharp's jacket would have gone up in flames. Anything else before we get on the boat?
I don't think so. No.
All right. Chief Engineer Pulaski called out sick on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The day the thing is leaving.
Seriously.
What's wrong with you?
That's bad news for Tony Santini because guess what? You can't sail a boat without a chief engineer. So bad news for Tony because Stubing's like, Julie, arrest this man and do not let him leave.
No kidding. Never let him leave the boat. Oh, maybe the guy who was supposed to work got a bad case of, I don't know, turkey fever. Huh?
He's got to get fired, right?
Absolutely. You can't. The day you're leaving.
Places I worked, you had on a Friday or a Monday, if you called out, you had to have a doctor's note.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have mine. I've never had that.
Yeah. No fooling around. You know who enjoyed their Thanksgiving? The chief engineer at the place I worked.
Yeah.
So Merrill kind of pusses out and leaves it to Julie to handle this, but doesn't give her like carte blanche to handle it. Just says you have to handle it.
He's such an ass. Like 2 minutes into the episode, I'm just like, come on, dude. Come on. I want to like you here, Stubing. I'm clearly rooting for you with my hat, my headwear selection. It's just
not me. I needed a hat, and that was the closest one I could find.
I will say, I will say this: did you notice the length of Julie's hair in this opening scene versus the last episode?
See, I'm not sure. We've had this back and forth. We do think there's continuity problems. I think this was a styling as much as it was a length, but I do think we're in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're in the grow out, but it's not as long as it was a couple weeks ago.
Is this criticism of Julie?
No,
it's just like timestamps.
They're shooting out of order, and this is the only way we have to track it. So
it's the length of her hair. Steuben can't grow hair. Bernie Capel can't grow hair. Gopher just has the same haircut as does Isaac every week. It's just they don't age. Their hair never moves. It's just odd.
No one ages on the Love Boat.
Well, like I just wonder if we're going to get season 6 like the Stubing mustache season. Is something like that going to happen?
I'd watch a Stubing mustache season. That'd be great.
I mean, that'd be great.
It's also interesting. We get an announcement that Merrill Stubing welcomes you to a Thanksgiving cruise. What?
Yes.
Why wouldn't it be in his voice? Like you going on a cruise. Wouldn't you think it would be? Oh, I'm Captain blah blah. Welcome aboard. Blah blah.
The host.
right?
Bert and Audrey Wilder arrive on the boat, and Audrey seems a little jittery, especially when Bert just kind of leaves her
She's-
and walks away.
I have to go get gum now. Bye. Like, what? Where did you go?
All right, we're on the boat. I'll see you.
Yeah. Just stand here.
Just, I'll pass by you every couple of hours or so.
Yeah, what did he need right away? You just got on the boat 2 seconds ago, and automatically he's like, "Oh, fantastic!"
This
like,
man is
what did
very
he
much
need?
looking for a break every chance he gets.
He was trying to double back and get off the boat. She sort of busted him.
I mean, I kept waiting for him to do the tricks that they did to Stephanie Zimbalist, where he like closes the door and all that stuff. So,
I thought they might do a skeet shooting bit because they love to,
So Audrey's kind of standing in the hallway, left to herself, and she's playing blind as Bug-Eyed.
Yeah.
Which is of course how it works. Doc, meanwhile, as Jimmy said, is hitting on Roz Kelly, and as he backs away from a shoot down, who's he back into? But poor Audrey, who just gets all sorts of just.
She got freaked out, man. She was just like, yeah.
Reverend Whitney, just trying to get away from it all for a second, but who's he run into? His parishioner, Barbara Sharp, and her husband Phil. At what point do these coincidences get to the point where you can't go on this boat anymore? Like,
the odds of a minister deciding to go on a cruise and bumping into the most annoying person in his entire parish or congregation, whatever it's called, they're pretty low. So he does not have good luck. I mean, he does, as we find out. He's very lucky, this minister. But
Oh.
he also probably could have wore a less conspicuous sports coat if he wanted to stay on the
No kidding. No kidding. It was, I did not like. I just didn't like the Barbara Sharp character at all. It's just so
they
annoying.
made her very likable.
Right, yeah.
Oh, well, also, we play this game all the time. How old was she playing in this show?
I would say
in this because
60? I consider her old.
Late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah,
early 50s.
It's hard because Peter Graves is not that old.
Right. That's what's throwing me.
Yeah.
Because he's a silver-haired fox. It's not his fault.
Right.
But yeah, that's what's throwing me off.
Work. So
that's true.
Yeah.
None of these people seem to have a job,
Nope.
Except for the Santini guy, and who's not allowed to leave the boat.
Well, it's not a very exclusive ship if it's $36.23 per night. It's ridiculous. You're going to travel cross country to spend it would cost you more in gas probably to get to the airport and park your car than it would to go on this thing per day.
Yeah. It's just wild. All the context we've had about people taking this boat in all different walks of life to get the actual price, which, by the way, we did a little research here at the headquarters. $1,500 in today's money with inflation is $7,200.
Wow.
So it's like 6 times the amount, basically.
Then that makes a little more sense.
So
in today's money, that makes me feel a lot better.
Okay. Turns out that Tony's family is not just his wife and child, which is what Julian Gopher kind of thought, but in fact, it's the entire cast of My Blue Heaven who shows up, six strong, and a chicken.
Yeah.
Those are not good numbers for Gopher and Julie. So.
You know how those immigrant families are. There's just always so many of them, and there's always a chicken involved and a grandmother.
I wonder how many eggs does one chicken lay a day? Like, I'm just saying, if you're going to feed all those people, you're going to need more than one egg. Like, what? how many eggs are in there? Like, how
Did you
many?
see him
You know what,
whipping up
Mike? You
pasta
got
in
me.
a-
I don't know how many eggs a
I don't
chicken
either.
lays on a regular basis.
I just think you would need more than one chicken to accommodate all these people's breakfast, or they would just
They
have to
made
wait.
a full Italian
Dude.
dinner with
Yeah.
in a cabin.
Did
Yeah,
you
to
see
have
what
What,
she
a
did?
hot plate?
Did you see her
I don't even know
slicing
where
the
the
garlic
pasta-
with a razor blade so it's so thin it disintegrates in the sauce?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. It was, hey, way to be like sneaky, way to tiptoe around the cruise ship by making a garlic filled tomato sauce dinner. Oh my God,
This is what they do. Have sauce will travel.
I'm surprised Captain Steubing didn't just gravitate to that room. Forget the chicken. He loves, complex carbohydrates. He could smell that bread.
The chicken parm and that
Better
whole
be
thing.
chicken parm. You just put cheese on it. I'll eat it as is.
Gopher checks on Tony's family. They're all posting up in Julie's room. And this is where Julie kind of gives out the plan. Everyone in the crew, all 4 of them, are going to have to house some folks, including Julie gets the grandmom and the chicken.
Yeah.
Hilarity
ensues.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. Larry Storch gets his first Italian in. There will be more. But what did you think of his initial broccoli rabe there?
Rosetta Stone. That's the first thing that came to mind.
As someone who is both of Italian descent and has degenerative eyes, I was very insulted by this episode.
Yeah, that was great.
It really
Italian.
hit me where it hurts.
Larry Storch, really, really amazing.
He's nailing the guy who's at the end of his rope because of all these family members following him around. He looked very frustrated throughout the entire episode. He looked tired.
But then every time, because I think later on that kind of explains Gopher's question, right? Like, how do you do it? And then he goes into a passionate pro-family thing. Because you're right. He does seem very tired, as he should be. He's just worked an entire shift and now he has to work again.
Yeah, apparently he has no days off. So
yeah, and plus, you know what? I don't want my chief engineer eating a bunch of turkey.
No, you just stay away. Well, how happy was he when that meal was made in Julie's room? That was pure joy right there. Oh, help yourself. Like, it was just, oh no.
Olive Garden up in there.
It was, that's funny. Never ending pasta bowls in Fiesta Deck 117.
Far less revelry going on in the Wilder's cabin. Bert is unpacking. No, what's the name of the steward? No stewards this week?
None. Not one to be found.
We have a blind lady unpacking her bag. Meanwhile, Bob Crane was just...
Where's Bob?
Yeah, not available,
Bob?
I guess.
You know,
that's the problem.
You know, it's funny. Not only, obviously what a great appearance, but at the same time, that role they never show anymore. Like, there's no one else in that role that Bob Crane was in on the crew.
It'll be back. That's an easy one.
But it's a good one to have a good guest star in. And this would have been a...
Spoiler, I think I know the next one, and it's a much different take on it. So.
Okay. All right.
So Bert's unpacking. Audrey's kind of having trouble adjusting to life on the road. And this is where we kind of get the exposition dump that she's kind of had her eyesight's been downgrading over the last year, and she's going to have to get used to it. Bert is really trying to get her to go to the Braille school, kind of learn Braille. And then here's your cane. So
he threatened her with a collapsible cane. Good Lord. That's the way to help her. Scare the crap out of her, intimidate her. Oh.
This is also where we get the first bang to commercial with the dramatic music that felt like something from like a movie in 1949. So
I have to say,
a dark episode in some ways. I mean,
oh yeah,
just
I'm not sure it resolved itself in a happy way.
No.
I mean, the comedic, the whole the funny haha part of it was just supposed to be like this big Italian family, and even that, as you said, it like gets serious at times because the dad looks overworked. He's going into this whole thing about his family, and he does it all for his family. It was not a lot of joy and love on this cruise that we're going on here.
No.
You got this lady, she's going blind, doesn't want to admit it. Her husband is dutiful and there and trying to help her. And, you got the minister. The minister's just having a great time. I mean,
yeah, I think the minister had the best time.
That part of the storyline was not there for comedic effect, but it was like, okay, these people seem cool.
Yeah. Was that the A storyline, do you think? I couldn't decide. It didn't have any crew in it, really, so I didn't know if maybe it was.
I thought it was meant to be the A storyline, because the A storyline would be like the love interest, right? The coupling. Isn't there like you're supposed to root for somebody to get together?
It depends on the celebrity too, like who that guest star is too. I think he would definitely slip into that, but
because in addition to the minister and the stripper, sorry, I wish I had another name for her, but they don't give you one.
Right, they don't give her one.
Give us one. Yeah.
The minister and the exotic dancer, lady friend.
There you go.
You have that couple who are awesome. I mean,
sure.
I think you said that earlier.
Yeah.
So there's the comedic. There's
I think that's the A storyline.
I just want something I noticed when Bert did this twice. As you're saying, going into break, there was this dramatic.
Yeah.
And apparently, Bert likes to press his head against the back of Audrey's head, and he opens his mouth and he looks up. He did it twice going into commercial. This one was super egregious, but the second one was in my second viewing just as egregious.
I didn't notice that. That sounds creepy as hell.
Now, much like when Jimmy identified Tab Hunter getting out of the pool last time, and we thought, maybe that's Tab Hunter's move. Do you think that is like their famous romantic move?
Is that the couple that's been the couple in all these other movies?
Yeah.
I don't know who told him that's like a natural react. Like, I don't know what emotion he's trying to convey with the open mouth look skyward with back of head hug. I don't. It's an odd combo.
I got the impression they were not particularly good actors. Like when they were in their prime.
I agree.
I think they won like whatever the equivalent of the Razzies are. Like,
I could see that. They were over. He was very overacting.
Yeah, I think that maybe is their thing.
Maybe they're on radio too with this whole.
Yeah, it could have been radio. Yeah, I could see that.
Something.
Yeah, that's true.
Act 2, Phil is trying to keep Barbara out of the minister's hair. It's not really working. Barbara spots an attractive lady. The same attractive lady that Doc spotted. So there you go. Two people thinking alike. She immediately sets out to fix up the minister with this unnamed lady. But as Jimmy pointed out, they kind of took care of that themselves. There was a deck chair next to the minister. That's where Roz Kelly heads over to, and the race is on.
Yeah, she spotted that silver fox right away and was like, all right, let's see how this works out.
Well, and we don't really know what denomination he is. He's a San Francisco reverend, which I think was an intentional statement.
Well, he was the most open-minded, progressive reverend.
He was super loosey-goosey. I'm actually a reverend of LSD.
But he's Tim Leary. But there's no like demarcation. Like the other priests we've seen on the boat.
They have a collar on.
Right, something.
Yeah. So they make it, he's like some hippy-dippy, I marry people in the forest sort of guy.
Yeah. He's like, hey, kids, want to rap?
Listen, I was raised Catholic. Well, the whole idea of a priest that's allowed to like get married and have a family is completely freaky to me.
Yeah.
Well, obviously now, it's actually better that way. Raised Catholic, you're not allowed to talk to ladies.
I mean, they say it at some point where he's actually like, how can I lead my flock if I can't lead my own? Like, it is a more pragmatic way to go about it, right?
It's absolutely a more pragmatic way.
Yeah.
I don't say anything too controversial, but I was raised Catholic. I no longer practice.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
I wonder if there was any issues with advertising, like in '78. Was that
for this episode?
Just for that? I don't know. I don't know how that would.
The tagline, "The minister and the stripper," seems provocative.
It does seem a bit provocative, especially for more of your conservative areas, the South, the Bible Belt, all
and
that. I just wonder.
Definitely, I think they use Phil when he's talking to Barbara a lot as the "you're holier than thou," kind of stuff. I do think,
right.
But this could have been taken a number of ways, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the whole message of this storyline is sort of like, let people be, don't be so judgmental, all that, which is great. But it's, I guess, living in the times that we live in now, it's surprising to see that in the 1970s where it's like, people were just like, yeah, but still, she's a stripper. She takes her clothes off. So what? You should make a fine minister's wife.
It's that, or it's just, the age-old story. The priest tries to get a girlfriend. He's only attracted to strippers.
Yeah. ...
So either way, it was all right. It was. I'll tell you, in a different episode, this wouldn't have been in the running. I don't think for #1 story. I think given the lack of weight in this episode, and the one that did have weight was just the acting was so bad it just lost its.
In a very good episode, it could be a second storyline.
Absolutely.
Very good episode. Yeah.
Yes.
Shout out to my boy Phil, who says sex will find a way.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Speaking of that, Steubing runs into a couple members of Tony's family, which leads to some hilarity in terms of language. But the crew's pretty optimistic that their plan is working out.
Yeah, I had a question about this. So I noticed this scene when it happened. You had the crew at the bar, right? And you had Julie. And it's something I've been kind of thinking about. Everyone else on this ship has a uniform, right?
Julie's uniform is adorableness. That's her uniform.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I'm just saying it's odd to me. I noticed the
same thing. It's funny
that she doesn't have a
she's just
rank or like.
But I think she goes uniform at the beginning of the cruise and the end of the cruise.
Yeah.
And so I think she gets. I will be interested to see if we ever get, I guess maybe the daughter when she comes in, or if we get another female crew member that is not wearing a uniform or not. I know what you're saying.
Introduce herself to the passengers and let them know, hey, I work here.
Well, because I mean, if you're in the
all bets are off.
If you're in the Navy or the Army or whatever, everything's sort of the same. You don't have a. It's just interesting to me, like in that scene particularly, she was wearing jeans and I think she had a shirt on with like her name tag, and I'm like, how can she wear that? And everyone else has got to wear these whites.
Military vessel.
No, but I mean, because then I was like, all right, well, what's another example? And I'm like, well, Doc doesn't walk around with just like a doctor's coat on. Like he's wearing his.
Well, Doc's always on duty, though, right?
Yeah,
Doc's always got a pocket full of pills,
right? And we've seen Isaac out of uniform.
Yeah, we have. Well, it's too hot even in November for him to wear all that suede.
That's true.
I digress.
Back at dinner, Barbara is trying to eavesdrop. She actually just set up her table right behind Peter Graves.
Yeah.
This chases Phil away. He's like, nope, Budinsky.
Like
she gets over here.
Excuse to go gambling for Phil.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna go hit the slots. See if there's a card game I can get into.
Barbara gets to overhear all the exposition, and this is where Whitney explains that he's a minister in San Francisco. We already kind of talked about that. But the lady friend, and this is really where I realized, they're not giving us a name, because this felt like the place to put. Oh, I'm Sue.
If it didn't happen here, it wasn't going to happen.
She's a stripper, and this almost kills poor Barbara Sharp. So.
It would have been how great poetic if that would have been. She just continued to choke on that drink and that ice or whatever she choked on, and that was the end of her. Her husband leaves happy.
Yeah,
the stripper's happy.
Peter Graves,
whatever her name is,
last rites.
Yeah,
just mortified. Like,
goodbye.
No
Yeah, so something to think about. Alternative ending.
to Jimmy's point, that sent Phil to the casino away, which worked out for him. This was a weird scene. So Stubing finishes his dinner, and he is saying what a great meal or something like that, and he's eating with
so
Julie.
Excited.
He really is.
It's the only time this man enjoys anything is when he
dessert was amazing.
Completely different camera angle. We're just shooting it from like
you're just spinning. Screw it.
All of a sudden, this nameless waiter, comes out with the most meat you've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's all meat.
It's the entire kitchen.
Like, what do you think, immigrants? What do you think people that don't speak? You think that's what they eat? Just steaks? Oh gosh.
I do like that the immigrant family in this is Italian. That they're just they're not going anywhere with Latino immigrants. It's just people from the old country.
Yeah.
Well, Larry Storch.
There being a big wave of Italian immigration in the 70s, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it's just because that's the accent Larry Storch was best at. That's where they went on. They were like, well, whatever you're best at.
Mimic.
That's right. So. Real Rich Little.
Julie's, in addition to Chief Engineer Pulaski being fired, Julie's got to fire this waiter. Like, dude, we got one plan. Bring the meat to my room, not my table.
What are you doing, dummy?
Julie wouldn't have been able to carry that back.
No. That guy could barely carry it.
Seriously. Nameless waiter. Like we said, Phil's at the slot machine. Barbara shows up to kind of fill him in about the stripper thing, and he finds it.
He does not care.
Not one bit.
If anything, also, he's like, hey, good for the minister.
And also, who carries this many silver dollars? Good Lord.
This guy does.
He's
got a whole pocket full. Just who walks around? You'd hear him coming a mile away. Here comes Phil.
Oh, you know what it is? He goes to the Susan B. Anthony racetrack. So...
wait. That's fine.
Write that down.
Yeah,
so after Barbara leaves, Tony's son Angelo walks over and just kind of stares like he's Audrey Wilder. He just kind of stares at the slot machine. He asks to try the machine. Phil's like, "Oh no, kids can't use this," which is Full House rules, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Phil wasn't going to let anybody use that machine. So,
well, plus, I'm surprised. Isn't the right thing for Phil to be like, "Hey, beat it"?
Yeah,
I can see hear that coming out. Hey, beat it.
He's like, I don't even think you're supposed to be in here.
Well, I think they were setting Phil up as a nice guy.
Yeah, they were trying to.
Yeah,
like despite the fact he just got up in the middle of a meal and was like, "I'm out."
I mean, he was doing it for the right reason.
Silver dollars.
I don't know. I wonder when the idea of like degenerate gambler became a thing. I don't know if it was a thing in the 70s. Like, I'm sure there were people who like had already had some sort of like, there was a temperance movement for alcohol and all these other things, but I don't know if they played with the gambling thing like it was totally normal, that he's at the track, he's gambling all the time.
You got to think back then, gambling was so much less convenient. In that sense, I mean, now you
go to two places and gamble. It was like Atlantic City.
I don't think Atlantic City was even up and running yet.
I mean, you get bombarded now with. It's so easy.
The early 80s, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, now you've got all these apps. I mean, ESPN has their own betting. It's the easiest thing in the world. So
don't give them promotion on this highly rated podcast.
We'll cut that in post.
Thank you. Phil ends up winning a small amount of coins. Doc asks Audrey for a dance. Turns out she's a pretty good dancer. She's like, no. So she doesn't want to do anything.
No. She's like, but can everybody just leave her alone, though? Yeah. This is my thing. Just everybody just leave her the hell alone. Doc, with your weird ESP, just leave her alone.
I mean, Doc's thing that he thinks this woman is losing her sight or has lost her sight. And his immediate reaction is to try to trick her into revealing it.
Wow,
that's kind of weird. Like, that's not the way you're supposed to react to that.
I'm just, I have a lot of problems with this storyline. Like,
this storyline was sad.
They wouldn't leave her alone, and I don't want to spoil my biggest issue, but it's coming.
They just leave her to die in the hallway?
Well, no, not even. Well, that was number two. There's
on
something
her
else.
2 feet is all about. On her own 2 feet is, he just leaves her alone.
Her feet are fine.
Yeah, nothing wrong with her feet. She's always had 2 fucking feet. Sorry.
Well, the joke's on her, though, because no one, and I mean no one, turns down Adam Bricker. So he has made it his mission now.
Something must be wrong with you.
What's your problem, broad?
Absolutely ham-fisted line exchange here. Gopher's like, don't tell me someone's blind to your charms. And
Like, yeah.
Thank God you said that, Pearl.
Yeah.
And then I think we get another sad musical note going to commercial.
A lot of sad music singers.
Yeah. Hold the note.
The minister and the stripper are out on the deck, and it's time for smooching. First date smooching.
Let's go.
He calls his shot. He's like, I never kiss on the first date until now. Nameless stripper.
Prepare to have your face boarded. Woo! Let's go.
If this shit goes down tonight, you're going to regret letting this opportunity get away.
You know what, though? I like what they did with the story in the sense that he's the one that was ready to like go to that next level, but she was like, you know, if you want to put a ring, whatever she was doing, she was like, no. So I like how it's sort of those roles.
She probably makes more money than he does, right?
Unless maybe, but how many silver dollars can you really hold in one dance? You know,
who makes more money in a year, Reverend Whitney or the nameless stripper?
I would hope that the nameless stripper makes more money.
That's what I think.
But I don't know how this, San Francisco minister makes a living.
That's true.
I mean, he just hangs out and ministers to his flock, I guess.
I am infuriated that they didn't not only give us her actual name, which is like baseline character.
Could have been anything.
They didn't give her the stripper name either.
No.
Well, it's funny that like they're doing this very progressive storyline where like she's cool, he's cool, everything's cool, except she's only ever referred to as this guy's girlfriend.
She is the first person in the main credits not to have a name.
Yeah.
And it's definitely the most lines of anyone. The only people who had more lines maybe were the sisters that hit what's his name with the bags.
Yeah, it's a good call.
They were like sister 1, sister 2, but they didn't make the main credits. This is a business name number 1 situation.
But I got to tell you though, she didn't really have like, I don't think she played a convincing stripper character. I don't. I think she some other profession. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean. Okay. She just didn't come across to me like as stripper. Maybe stripper was a different thing in the 70s, and maybe I'm just misreading it because hairstyles were different. I just don't.
Well, she's supposed to be. She says she's a Vegas stripper, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think she mentioned at some point that she's in Vegas, so maybe it's more like a burlesque kind of deal. I don't know.
Maybe. I just think
fit.
Like we've seen Barbie Benton, fake French with a perfect nose, on the boat a couple times.
Yes.
And to me, that's a more appropriate person to have that role in this.
That would have been really good, actually.
That's what I'm saying, because they made
really good in that. You're right.
And not that she's not attractive in this. It's just it's not the same.
To me, it has nothing to do with.
No, you could believe that she's not. You could say that she does something else, and people would be like, okay. But Barbie Benton did it. You'd be like, whatever. She's a stripper. I know she's a stripper. You know?
I don't think it's
no tattoos, no track marks. There's no way she's a stripper.
I don't think it's as much her looks for me to what you're saying is I don't think she was either a good enough actress or she didn't. I think she was trying to do both. Like, I'm a stripper, but I'm also like this
heart of gold
person who could be the minister's wife.
You guys are talking a lot of smack about Roz Kelly. You better watch out. She doesn't respond well to car alarms and old people being in her way.
Sorry, Roz. Sorry. That's a good call.
Cut all of this.
Yeah. We'll cut all this in post. Sorry, Roz.
Pinky Tuscadero is a fine actress.
Boy.
Isaac is delivering warm milk to Gopher's cabin, but luckily, Merle Stuving has nothing better to do than to just walk around the cabins.
Busybody. He's like a Walmart greeter and there's nobody coming aboard. Nothing to do.
Luckily, he manages to blow him off pretty quickly. But Steubing then hears a chicken. So,
Yeah. For the
and his
first time,
descent
right?
into madness begins.
Yes.
Much like that MASH episode.
Yeah. Well, it's funny.
That was dark.
Steubing asked Isaac. Steubing asked Isaac if he heard that noise.
Yeah.
He's like, "Did you hear that was a chicken?" And Isaac said, "No, it sounded like a seagull with the croup," which I thought was funny. And then the
Isaac
other
had some good throwaway lines in this one.
He also right after that, Gopher was like, "What's taking so long?" And Isaac referred to Steubing as the fuzz. I almost fell out of my chair.
That was so great.
It was so funny.
Isaac goes in with the warm milk. Two of the kids fell right asleep with the bedtime stories. Gopher can't get Angelo to go to sleep, which is funny because his acting is very sleepy.
Very sleepy.
He's not,
not a lot of energy.
So what works after 5 bedtime stories? You get a jive talking Goldilocks and the Three Bears, which was really actually Isaac doesn't really play that character a lot, but it's in there. And
it's in there. Yeah,
Isaac rules.
Yeah, Isaac. I think. Well, let me ask you this, Mike. We're now more than a third done of the season. Let's get a quick ranking of the Stubby best regular here for you.
It's tight at the top right now. It's Doc and it's Isaac now.
Okay, that's where I'm at too. Yeah. It's kind of a blowout though right now. Like the other three aren't even close.
Yeah, those two have distance on everybody else at this point.
Does best mean like most entertaining or like best at most competent at their job?
No, most entertaining. Yeah, we kind of
I don't know if Doc is all that competent.
No. If we got into that, none of them would win.
No.
So
yeah,
really I don't. Last year, I don't think they're giving her anything to do, which is weird.
No, it's different. It's different. And Gopher just sort of, I feel like his character just sort of not treads water, but a little more than treads water. I don't mean that in a bad way, Fred Grandy. I just mean
they never
as far as the focus,
or at least anything that I've seen, he doesn't really ever seem to be like a main character. He's just
every now and again. Every now and again.
A couple, but it's not a lot.
Yeah.
So. Julie's cabin.
Oh yeah.
125. Now with a nameplate.
I saw that.
We get some comedy with the chicken. Julie can't sleep.
Yes.
Like there's a picture of hot cocoa in there.
Oh, it's the same picture. She's so crazy she doesn't want to move that picture that he set up.
Don't get that hot water near the chicken.
Are chickens nocturnal? I thought they woke up early in the morning and
roosters wake up early. I don't know. Do
chickens nocturnal? I mean, or are they keeping the chicken awake just in the hopes of getting more eggs?
I think that chicken being held in a cage that's just barely big enough for the chicken and being carried onto a boat by this lady, that probably makes it a little difficult to get a good night's sleep.
Well, they're right by their face. Why don't you throw a blanket over that bird?
That's what I'm saying. Cover it up.
In the corner. Cover it up.
The illusion of night.
You got a dresser?
Yeah, just put it in the bathroom. Something.
You really should go in the bathroom. You can walk
just
around.
Staring at this place, like looking around, like, where the hell am I?
The next morning, Doc wakes up Tony and his wife. They're sleeping on cots. And good thing they woke up because here comes Steubing.
Oh, busybody. Nothing to do.
Wants to talk to Doc about this chicken, the chicken thing. He promises that he won't laugh. And then after Steubing leaves, being assured there are no chickens, he laughs hysterically. Doc also with a name tag on his door now. So I guess
Notice that. I kind of like it.
That's what we're doing this week. It's also a different font than we've seen in previous name tag doors. So
I agree.
Well, it's like more goofy. It's more goofy lettering. Like it's not serious.
The other thing too, I noticed this week, there was a ticker tape scene without close-ups. So I wonder if that's the new norm.
Well, that was in there a couple of weeks ago too. I think that's new stock footage. So I think we're done. I think now I'm ready to call it. We're officially, unless there is an absolute storyline reason for one, I think that's it.
Well, like if the Globetrotters couldn't fit in one porthole, all of them.
Right. Or if someone gets pushed off the boat early in the episode, I guess. Like,
Or somebody real tall, like Peter Mayhew. Fair enough.
So Peter Graves and his lady enjoy a morning swim.
Yeah.
They're coming back.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope. Going to her cabin. She's going to get changed and they can go to breakfast. And this is where they really get into it. They really get into the conversation.
They do.
He is falling head over heels for this lady.
He isn't falling head over heels. This dude can't keep it in his pants. You know that's what's going on. He's giving strong Dick Van Patten.
Past her into the room. Like she goes into the room and is getting ready to close the door. And he's like, I'm coming in too.
I'm reading Dick Van Patten energy when he was, the whole Vicki Lawrence thing. This guy is 2 steps from a predator. She was about to kick him out, and he was like, let me preach.
I will preach to you, and you can be exotic for me.
That's it.
He's not a minister. Or he's like when your friend marries you.
That guy.
Yeah, he just did it for the parking spot.
He got a license at one point because he thought it'd be cool, and now he marries his friends.
Yeah. Finally, she kicks him out because he's like, I have to get dressed. And just because, I'm always naked in front of people doesn't mean I have to be naked in front of you right now.
Wouldn't that be great if you pulled out a 20 right in that spot and go, straight from the collection plate to your collection plate. Come on.
Somebody's really shy.
I mean,
that would have been
Peter freaking Graves. Come on.
That would have been a twist.
That would have been a twist. Hello.
So she throws him out just to get, I'll meet you on the deck. And as Peter Graves turns, who's in the hallway?
The old
Barbara Sharp.
busybody.
Barbara Sharp. And Barbara Sharp's got plans. She is so offended by this whole arrangement that she's going to the board of trustees.
She will get you.
Tell them. That's right. And he's like,
I was not even aware that whatever minister he is, there's a board of trustees involved somehow, which sounds like a big church. I don't know.
Yeah, it is funny. It is like, that does sound more. I just assumed this was one of those like, hey man, churches. So
we got a church down the road. It's called my apartment.
I sort of equated it to like an HOA. Like she's going to notify them. Like, hey, your boy's tripping down here. He's hanging out with scrippers. God knows what else.
Roz Kelly hears all of this because apparently when they were putting the nameplates on the doors, they really thinned out the wood because every door is incredibly hear-through now. So.
Well, the door wasn't even closed all the way.
On the Love Boat.
It wasn't even closed all the way.
Walls.
Yeah.
If you're leaving somebody who's getting dressed, right, you would close the door all the way. The door never closed all the way. She's just standing there inside of a cracked door like a dummy.
Because he wasn't committing to not going back in.
He didn't want the.
He was about to invite him back in.
Yeah, he didn't. He wasn't really totally into this. I'm going to have to leave now thing.
Yeah, he's like, I went swimming with you. Come on.
I'll tell you one thing. If these doors were on in episode 3, the cruise ship Casanova would have gotten caught a lot easier.
That's right. He absolutely.
They were like
doors we needed
that door.
It's crazy.
And that was another weird commercial break. We got the sad Roz Kelly eavesdropping.
Oh yeah, you got her sad. She thinks that she is ruining the minister's life by potentially getting wrapped up with him. Meanwhile, he's already ready to marry this woman.
Yeah,
he's
he
like,
does
whatever.
Not give 2 craps about what Barbara Sharp thinks.
He's like, Barbara Sharp, Barbara Smart.
She's
religion,
sometimes.
I'm about to make out with her.
I can preach.
I only just met her husband this week.
He's like, look at these lips. Look at these lips. Come on.
Out on the deck, Bert not dressed for sunbathing. He's like wearing a full, like a little boy sailor outfit.
The red socks. Oh, how dare you, sir?
But they are basically shooting down each other's things. She's like, you should go play shuffleboard. And he's like, well, you should go do this. And they're both like, nah. Why'd they come on this cruise?
Why don't they just leave her alone?
I think he was planning to throw her overboard. That was the plan. When he first gets her on the boat, he kind of gives her a little shove. And then, as you say, he walks away. I think his whole plan coming on was like, I'm going to figure out a way out of this.
Hey, let's go look at the view. Come on.
Because he's already got it figured out that he's going to have to take care of her. So now it's like, all right, well, either she learns how to take care of herself or else I'm leaving her on the boat.
See, there's your move. You just leave.
Hey.
Give her to the Santini family. Let them take care of her. They got a chicken. What are they, come on.
You can learn Braille and Sicilian.
Yes. You can take care of this kid that nobody ever seems to be watching.
Bert. Or Bert.
So basically,
you and the kid can stare at people uncomfortably throughout the rest of your lives.
Bert tells Audrey that he made an appointment for the beauty parlor. You used to go every week.
Oh, yeah. Remember
You're
when you used to take care of yourself?
My girl.
You used to make an effort.
Yeah.
Open mouth, look up. Smash head on back of head.
Doesn't mean I have to look at this.
Oh.
Everything has changed now.
Well, he's like, I'm tired of the way you look. Speaking of vision, you are not one. Let's go to the beauty salon. Please. It's been years.
Walks in there, looks at
years.
Looks at the beautician. He's like, I don't know. See what you can do with this.
Just do something. It was like that Dumb and Dumber where the toenails are all crazy long. It was just a mess.
This is the second blind we've had in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Will we get the next blind one, or will we get a deaf one?
I think they'll go blind again.
Hasn't been a deaf person yet. There should be a deaf person at some point.
I would think so.
Well, we do have a disability coming next week, but we'll get into that at the end of the show.
I don't like
generative eye problems are not disability, Mike. They're just the friend you haven't made yet. The crew are all in bad shape thanks to Tony's family and all the sleeping arrangements. And they're like, oh. And all of a sudden, what do they smell? Buca de Beppa.
Oh, family style.
Hey, there's an Olive Garden on this boat.
Hey, where'd you get the raw tomatoes and garlic and onions? And where did you get the pot? Like
the cooking equipment.
Where did they steal it from?
Last week, Julie's cabin was so small she couldn't hang a small clothesline
comically
between the
small
door and the bathroom door.
And now
it's Bertucci's in there.
Never-ending pasta bowls.
So Tony's family is thanking them by making lunch. Isaac's like, I'm gonna go liberate a bottle of Chianti. When he opens the door to go, the chicken follows him.
Dun, dun, dun.
And so Angelo goes to follow the chicken. The classic tale.
They should have threw that chicken They should have threw that chicken in the pot, Mike. That's what I would have done. Enough of that damn chicken.
This is also where Gopher's like, Tony, what the hell? How do you do this? And this is where he goes for the stubby. I get home and I see my family and I give them a big kiss on the cheek and then the other cheek and
the pride of Tony Santini. Good Lord.
I don't think he's going to get a stubby.
He's a good man who was roped into this trip. This was supposed to be his weekend off. You know
what?
If
Jimmy
it's
makes a good
effort,
argument. He actually might get a stubby because, as far as crew member, you, sir, have done a yeoman's work.
No kidding. And they said, then they had to pay for the cruise that basically he couldn't leave. So it's like his choices were to leave, lose his job, but to spend time with his family.
Yeah.
Or to stay on the boat. And the whole thing's crazy. You
have to pay us to stay here and do your job, which we're not supposed to have to do this.
I also think he could have negotiated a little bit.
I was surprised he was in uniform.
I think the captain someone needs to talk to this captain because, maybe you're going to get this. You're going to get to this next, but the captain discovers them at some point.
Meryl's not going to do anything.
He's very upset about this. Way more upset about this than he should be.
Yeah, because no one's going to know.
Julie solved the problem.
Right.
You know what it is? It's his pride. It's because he didn't know.
Because guess what? What the alternative is, Tony leaves.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have an engineer and your boat doesn't go.
You got to refund $32 a day.
And I bet you that's not
this cushy little gig is up, Steuben.
Exactly. I bet
we don't a real job. We don't have hundreds of dollars to refund. We just don't have that kind of cash on hand.
Aubrey, yeah, we don't have that box of money anymore. We gave it
No,
to
we gave it
Wendell
to
Sneed.
nothing there.
Uh,
I forgot about Wendell.
yeah. In the hallway, Steubing hears the chicken, but then he sees the chicken, and then he sees Angelo, and the jig is up. This is when Tony's family discovers that the chicken and Angelo are missing. Julie opens the door. Classic Mike Taylor want moment.
Inevitable, right? Inevitable.
Yeah.
We knew it was going to happen.
That said, they take they go to a different scene before we get the actual Steubing commentary. I didn't expect it to go where it went because it's ridiculous that it did. So we'll get back there in 1 second. Real quick, the stripper's on the deck. She's been hiding out because now she thinks that she's going to get Peter Graves in trouble.
Which is a nice. They're showing that she's like an ethical person,
right?
Like they're like, hey, all strippers aren't terrible people. Look at this one with a heart of gold. Like, well, it's okay. Like, we get it. I think it's a nice sentiment, though. I really do.
And she was like Jimmy said, Peter Graves does not care. It's going to be the minister's wife if he has anything to do with it. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see. Back on the Wilders train here. Bert takes Audrey to the beauty parlor, and they tell the staff. I don't know if this is a prearranged lie or if this is all Bert's work, but they're like, "Oh, she sprained her ankle. She's going to need that extra help." Which
you know what though? Which is fine. It's nobody has to know different.
Yeah, especially like the first one out of the box.
It's nobody's business, right? It's nobody's business. If she's uncomfortable with it, she's uncomfortable with it. That's fine.
It's not fun. As somebody who does have bad eyesight, it's not fun to announce it all the time. Now, I've gotten way more comfortable about it in my older age, but it's not something where you're like, oh, yeah, by the way, I'm like walk into this wall over here.
Before we begin this evening. No, I just think with this, I mean, I don't know. I just find it, I wish everyone would just leave her alone. But the ankle thing is fine. That's why they're seeing it with Doc. Oh, well, why is she? I'm like, can you guys just leave her alone?
Yeah.
It's none of your business, dude. Like everyone's ailments are none of your concern. Like you didn't take some oath to go chase every person. It's just dumb. It's stupid.
It's rare Doc inconsistency is that he never is aggressively searching out a patient, like especially
much better things to do.
Young virile patient.
He wouldn't even see her. She wouldn't even register in his brain.
But he's literally doing a Steubing. He's walking up and down the hallway, I guess, when this happens. Scouting out the beauty parlor makes sense.
Of course.
Overhears the ankle bit, and he confronts Van Johnson, and he's kind of like, "Hey, Bert, you're kind of enabling her. You should force her to deal with it." He has some claptrap line about how by letting her lean on you, you're not helping her stand up on her own, or some. Everybody was really swinging for the.
Everyone wants that Stubby Award. That's what it is. Word got around. But also, I'm just like, mind your own business, dude.
Yeah.
This literally has nothing to do with you at all. You don't know her. You don't even know her name. But suddenly you're like, I'm aware. Shut up, Doc. You're being stupid.
Bert tells him to go pound sand.
Yes.
I especially liked, again, this is like from the people who brought you an episode that didn't name a main character. My wife of so many years.
An undetermined amount of years.
Who can tell?
Okay.
If only there was a way.
Is it your golden? Well, an undetermined metal and or alloy or paper.
Bert has no idea when his anniversary is.
No.
Is it our anniversary today? What day is it? I don't know. What day do you think it is?
Speaking of that, it's funny we talk about that. My anniversary was a couple weeks ago, and I didn't even realize it till like 3:00 in the afternoon, and just went downstairs and I was like, "Hey, happy anniversary!" And she was like, "Oh." We both completely spaced out on the anniversary, so I don't know what happened there.
And it was a big one too.
It was.
It was. No, I knew it was anniversary.
So, anywho,
good for you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so we're back at Julie's cabin. This is where Steubing is now. He's assessed the situation. He knows exactly, what's happened, and quickly he determines that monies are owed.
To me, he's got a change belt on. To me, and he only takes silver dollars.
Like, they never even do the move where it's like, but sir, he's working for basically free. We stole his holiday, like all this stuff. Like they didn't push back enough.
No.
I know you have to do the bit where Tony's like the man, and that actually makes sense, right?
Sure.
But why not just do the thing where Steubing says it in a more direct way, and Tony's like, "Listen, man to man, I'll work it off. Don't you worry about it. I don't want you getting in trouble."
Yeah, but
which would still be crap because Steubing made him work on Thanksgiving.
It's the pride of Tony Santini. It's the musical that's sweeping New York City right now. He has to.
No,
he has to pay for it.
That thing's in like Hoboken. That's not on Broadway.
Yeah, Secaucus, New Jersey, on every fourth Wednesday.
Theater.
That's what he was. Tony Santini's he's a proud man, much like Plumber Poet. Anyone in this line of work, it's a tremendous amount of pride.
Oh, this should have been the return of the Plumber Poet.
I would 100% with it.
Way better.
Had his whole family. Well, I wonder.
Jane Curtin wasn't available.
I just wonder what accent he would have been good at, because that was the Larry
Storch.
To
be the Plumber Poet again. Not even the actor. Just
I'd love to see Plumber. I completely. Just in passing.
Yeah, just in the back.
I would love to see it.
So yeah, Steubing's like, give me $1,500.
Didn't Steubing say everybody offers, I'll even pitch in,
including Steubing,
which made no sense. I'm like,
no.
Why don't you just say, hey, give me 700 and I'll cover blah blah blah? But he's got to,
or just say, hey, don't worry about it, and if anybody says anything, we'll take care of it then.
Because rules, rules. So he's going to enforce the rule, but he's going to be the first one to. Not one of the first, well, one of the first people to be like, hey, and I'll donate and be like, Steubing, shut up, man.
We'll donate $8.
$8.
You should also give Julia like a thumbs up. Like, you got the boat on that water. There'd be a lot of leftover turkey you'd be chucking into the river.
Hey, he said, you know what, though? It's on him. He said what he said and then just walked away. Left her with a crap sandwich to deal with.
Yeah.
Guess what? The crew's left. Sorry, Meryl. Why don't you have some of them stay in your 2-room suite and have, donuts delivered at 3 p.m. every day, Meryl? Living the life of, royalty at sea. Just saying. It's annoying.
Chef D'Antonelli presents Thanksgiving dinner.
Here we go.
So they give this turkey like an actual announcement with like a spotlight, and they walk it through the thing. It's like a whole. It was quite a show.
I love turkey, but it is just turkey. It's not like they have sparklers in the turkey's butt or something crazy. Something cool. Just yay, seasonal poultry.
It's not a turducken.
I've always wanted to try that. Never had the opportunity.
Good. It's very good. So yeah, the turkey gets it was at minimum the same audio track they used for April Lopez.
That's funny.
Like, her applause. Big dais we got here. We got Captain. On his right is Julie.
Mm-hmm.
On her right is Peter Graves. On his right is the stripper.
I have an issue with this. Yeah.
And on the captain's left, Tony Santini.
It's not. That is an error.
Oh,
we all know it's
man,
girl, boy, girl, boy, girl,
Yeah.
boy, girl, boy. I don't know what's going on. That is not.
No. So answer me this.
Yeah.
They have not paid yet, correct?
Right.
So Tony is working. Is Tony not a downstairs worker?
Oh, I see where you're going. Yeah, I see. Because the whole Stubby situation.
Right. So has Merrill changed his ways, or is this different?
Well, what was her job?
Is he
Did she
not
work in the
a
kitchen?
downstairs worker?
He lost his mind when a retiring cook, like line cook, came upstairs to eat with his father, her boyfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
So
It's that whole fraterners. They take these in the Navy. They take that stuff seriously. But in this case, I don't. Well, he had a jacket though.
Vessel, so
No, he had a jacket and he had stripes on. So I think no, because maybe that has something to do with it. Because we've seen Gopher at the table.
yeah, and
he
I guess
doesn't have a lot of stripes.
engineer is probably more of a upstairs position.
Sure,
maybe.
I would think so, especially head engineer.
I
I
also
didn't know
like.
that Steven was so unlikable.
Oh, every week.
Yeah, he's just not a fan of the working class, charging up, running up the price on everybody, ruining everybody's Thanksgiving. Not very grateful for this people who've given up their holiday for him.
Against his. Well, they were like that at Christmas too. It was
Yeah.
almost the exact same thing at Christmas.
And I'll say this: we haven't even gotten to my bone to pick with Meryl Stubing this week. We have not even reached that point yet.
Oh,
That is
excellent.
coming.
Excellent. So it's Thanksgiving, of course, and this is the most Thanksgiving we actually get, where we go around the table and kind of say we're thankful for. Peter
Sure.
Graves gives the blessing. He's thankful for his stripper wife, I guess.
I'm thankful for the art of stripping and strippers and more stripping.
She's thankful for her anonymity, I guess. So,
Yeah.
I'm thankful I have no name.
Barbara is like, no, this is awful. And Phil's like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. She's like,
Didn't take much. Did
Back
not
to
take
the slots.
back to the slot machine.
Yeah. Any excuse to get away from this woman.
Tony gives his thanks in Italian. Or-
Mama.
Yeah.
Mom.
Oh,
Thank
what
you for bringing
what
a
he's saying, what Tony is saying is
He loves that girl like a heart. I'm not get to see you. I'm gonna die.
oh.
We go around here. Long story short, we get to Bert and Audrey's got
Here it
nothing
comes.
to be thankful for.
Yeah,
Nothing.
absolutely nothing.
You
It's all
can't
a big
fudge
misery.
it. You can't fudge it. You can't
Nope.
just say, nothing. Nothing's
Yep.
going on. No,
No, Bert's like, we gotta go.
we got to go now. Let me just get her out of here.
So back in the cabin, Audrey apologizes and she's like, I'm just not gonna come anymore. And Bert, intentionally or not, he kind of has taken Doc's advice. And he has ramped up his plan. So
Sure.
now 20 minutes ago, he's lying about ankle injuries. And now he's like, listen, you're blind. You're going to be blind.
Yeah.
You're going to use this cane. I'm going to get a drink.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
It's the
I'm
old
Good luck.
it's the old smoke a carton method of curbing a new smoking habit. Just here, jump in the deep end and learn how to swim. Bye. I'll be at the bar.
Try navigating this boat that you've never been on.
What
God,
a
it's so not
harsh move, Bert.
Again,
And
this guy's
maybe-
plan was for this woman to not leave this boat with him.
Well, let's say she goes the wrong way. There's probably
Exactly.
more than one bar. I'm just
Oh,
saying,
yeah.
isn't the trick
Somebody
here for him to
else's
say it
problem
and
at that point.
you just
Yeah.
wait outside the door, and then you go, see? But he's like, no, I'll be at
Yeah.
one of the bars.
He doesn't
Don't know
really
which
want her
deck.
to find it.
Yeah, don't know what floor. Could be anywhere.
He's pushing
Find
her
me.
to make her give up.
Lord.
Tony and the missus are talking about how the hell are we going to pay for this stuff?
Don't.
Angelo overhears and he offers up that silver dollar that Doc gave him.
Gift of the Magi, Mike. We're finally seeing an example of it.
That's right. Angelo is like, well, Tony's like, no, listen, I'm not broke. I'm a man of pride. You spend that money on yourself or somebody who needs it more than us.
That's right.
And who needs it more? Degenerate gamblers. So.
A guy who was walking away and then was like, oh, wait. This might be a lucky
I got
dollar.
another coin now.
Let me spend it immediately.
He goes to return the coin to the child and then is like, you know what?
Nah.
Bird in the hand. May as well see how this goes.
So basically, we have Phil telling Barbara that she's kind of become self-righteous, and she's using her religion as a shield for her judgment, all that stuff. And she's like, you know what?
Good for him.
Point.
Good for him.
Yeah. No, I thought this was like, of all the conversations we've seen on this show where like things are resolved and it wasn't earned, that felt very earned. That felt like Phil had points. Barbara caught herself on it, and it got resolved. I think good for them.
With you. Yeah, good for them.
But
it gave you the impression that like at one point they had a lot of fun. And now she's no fun anymore. So he's always off trying to find fun, and she's at the church and she's ruining everybody's good time.
Or she's just bored.
Decides like, no, you know what? I'm gonna start being fun again.
Yeah.
Let's go get some booze.
I was surprised he took her back. I really thought it was gonna be like,
I was waiting for this to be the episode with the divorce at the end of the show.
Phil has a strong pimp hand though.
Yeah,
one of the strongest I've seen in the history of the show.
Yep. But like I said, good for them.
Yeah.
And now that they've resolved everything, they're gonna head back, and Phil's got one coin left. Let me just get rid of this baby. Much like the ending of Ocean's 13, puts it in the machine. And here comes all the money. Angelo had given him his Doc dollar. And that, in fact, is the one that is the big jackpot winner. Like a comical amount of coins come out.
Yeah. Like, oh, sweet. You won $7.15. This is awesome.
That's always a scene whenever there's a slot machine. There's going to be a big payout, and there's going to be somebody scrambling for a bucket to catch all these coins. And you're looking at it and thinking, this can't be a lot of money. I don't know how much money this is, but it's just a bunch of change.
Yeah. If you took the time to take all that change out and you put it in a bag, which I don't know where they got that bag from, and then you go to present it to give somebody else, I feel like it's sort of a D move to dump them out again on this. More, they're loose again. They're everywhere. I'm like, no, I want to count them. Can you just hand me the bag?
It'd be great if all that and it's like, oh, I can pay for the cruise now and everything, and they get to the register and Gopher's like, you owe us $800.
Yeah, you're just a bit short.
Family members.
Well, the way that they're being upcharged for this trip that they were forced to go on, they should pay in nothing but change. They should just show up and dump a bunch of pennies out,
or they just pay in tomato sauce.
Yeah, here, I'll cut my skin off for you. Is that enough?
So, obviously now that there's money to be had by the Santinis, the kid has paid for it.
Bam.
And everything is great. The
Thanksgiving
cruise can now be paid for. The Princess line will not be short $1.
Thank you.
Don't you worry.
We'll be back next week.
No one has violated the rules of stowawayism.
Here it comes, Mike. I know it's coming, and this is the single most irritating moment maybe in the history of Captain Stubing on this ship.
Maybe in the history of Captain Stubing.
In my opinion. Yeah.
Oh, now I'm nervous to see if I'm in the right spot. So I got Phil gives Angelo the money.
Yep.
Angelo pays it off. And we go to Act 5.
Did we talk about
I missed. Yeah,
Audrey.
Sorry. Yeah, I missed it. Sorry. So Doc and Bert are kind of apologizing for each other's behavior earlier, and then Gopher Doc is like, hey, maybe you should stay around here. And Audrey has covered in tree branches and dirt has made it to the lounge.
Bleeding profusely from her arms.
Limping, one sleeve ripped, but
she's all messed up. Her hair looks... is this the same woman who just left the salon? I don't know. I don't know what happened.
So, Gopher and Steubing kind of offer to dance with Audrey, and Steubing, I imagine this is where you have a problem with Steubing.
Huge problem. Are you kidding me?
Go on.
Are you kidding me? Bert leaves Audrey in the room with the cane, right? And we all agree, not the most friendly move. And then he waits for her at the bar. Are you kidding? Steubing, after this whole sort of poignant moment of her using the cane, instead of her going up to her husband and going, let's have a nice dance together, Steubing's like, oh, let me go ahead and just steal this moment from Bert and you can dance with me. He's so needy. Everything is about him. He's so needy.
Thanksgiving.
he made her walk in with
day.
Yeah, he scooped the whole thing and made it about himself.
It's Thanksgiving. Dance with this strange captain.
That's what I'm saying. And I insist.
Yeah.
And what was the point? He danced with her for 2 seconds and then the other guy cut in. Are you...
There you go, honey. You can tell everybody you dance with the captain now.
He's just so insecure.
When you get back home, you tell him what a great time the captain showed.
Yeah, I'm quite the dancer. Let me show you the big book of shipwrecks too. It's ridiculous.
You bring your $273.
Yeah.
You dance with Merle Steubing.
It's just enough. It's always about him. And he made this whole big thing about him again.
Usually I can pick out your Steubing stuff. I didn't see that one coming. That was a good one. You're right. You're not wrong.
I did, in the moment when I was watching it, I did think it was weird that there is this scene where she does it. She goes on her own into the bar. She finds her husband. And then the captain's like, hey,
Swoop.
Why don't I just interrupt this whole point?
Yeah, not so fast. Whatever.
We finally do get clarification, at least from Steubing, that conversation we've had before, Mike, which is that, I think a man should be allowed to dance with his wife.
Oh, yeah.
So there's your cut-in rules. You can always cut in on your own wife.
So if it wasn't his wife, he'd have been like, hit the bricks. But
Sorry,
we've been in a relationship
Sally.
for 20 years. Sorry. Captain's rules. Yeah. It's a good call. I didn't think about that, but I do remember him saying that.
Act 5, always the least important of the acts. The Sharps and the minister and the stripper, they're all leaving. Everything's great now. It seems like having Barbara Sharp on your side is almost as bad as having Barbara Sharp against you.
Yeah.
It's just very up in Roz Kelly's face.
Phil just needs to get, that she's such a busybody. Either way, she's a busybody.
Yeah. Phil even agrees to come to church a couple times, so it all works out. Speaking of working out, Bert and Audrey, they're leaving, and what do you have planned? Well, Audrey's going to start teaching blind kids how to dance at the Braille Institute.
That's right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I will say this as someone who has given and received some of these: a very realistic handshake from Julie to Audrey there. A little bit of that grabbing, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually a really nice little piece of acting, which was unnecessary in this show, but good on them.
She wants that stubby, Mike. You know it. It's a motivating factor.
That's appealing to the voters here. So
come on.
Angelo pays the bills. Gopher had to give him a receipt.
Yeah.
So dumb. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching.
So
at least we know something's in the safe now.
Does Tony get paid? He gets paid though, right? So
$1 a year, apparently. He's getting paid a very small amount of money.
That's a terrible amount for Tony. But yeah, the whole Tony's family's leaving. And this is the part that I got screwed up by. So Steubing thanks Tony for sharing his family with me on this holiday.
This guy.
Tony's like, thank you, Captain Steubing.
Yep.
Yeah.
For what?
For what?
For what?
Yeah.
Like being a stiffly Stifferson and like not letting us. He pretty much held him up for their money.
I mean, throughout the episode, he is the put upon dad who's like really trying to extol, this virtuous advice to everybody around him about how, what a great thing it is to go home to your family. And, you got that money, you should give that to somebody else. I don't need
someone who really needs it. Yeah. Like a principled man.
The entire time he's just being screwed. He's just being forced to work on his holiday to take his family along in what he thinks is like a free trip in exchange for him working the holiday. Then all of a sudden the captain finds out. Now he's got to pay for it. It's a mess.
Well,
he should sue. You should throw the captain overboard. Quit. That's why he never came back. Tony finally wised up after this, and that was his last day. He was like, all right, Captain, you know what? It's been a great time. Thank you for the life lesson.
Well, they have
my resume.
They have the deleted scenes, and at one point they take a close up on Merrill. Looks right in the camera, and he says, "Tony Santini is just a dumb son of a bitch," and then it just cuts back to the. So he knew.
Well, you know what it is too. It's like, I think we've worked at places where this happens, where a boss gets a bigger bonus if he spends less, on salaries.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to get a nice big fat. This is the end of the year too.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
He told Prouix to call out.
Being paid what they deserve. That's I think we already know that.
Oh, I agree.
They're all being asked to do entirely too much, and now we know that their vacations are merely implied. It's not necessarily real. You're still
gonna be here. Yeah, you'll still be here. You'll be in the same clothes. Isn't life great? It's like a cult on that boat.
Who's paying for the reservations, the bookings that were not used? Like,
I don't.
What about that mountain resort?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a great question.
Also, were they dressed? So they packed for a mountain trip and they ended up on a cruise ship?
Well, you always have your chicken around. You always keep the chicken with you, and that's really all you need is the chicken.
Yeah, they weren't. I mean, if they only packed ingredients for sauce and pasta, sure, they were ready to go to the mountains.
Pasta and a chicken.
And individual burners, like I don't. Yeah, I guess they were ready.
Pots and pans they just always bring around with them.
We're gonna make them big. Yeah. We're gonna make one to make a meal.
Different wardrobes. So,
is Tony's work hat different than his regular hat?
It's a fedora. Either way,
he's never not at work. So
he's using that F Troop hat at home.
Larry Storch was definitely doing some hat acting in the portal.
Oh, he was great. A lot of this. He likes to use it as a prop. What do you need me to do? Yeah.
We end with basically a Thanksgiving joke. The chicken. The chicken, who I guess is in the lead for Stubby, right?
So far, so good.
Was maybe the most entertaining part.
The only animal so far, season 2,
right?
Wow,
yeah,
it's the odds-on favorite, the unnamed chicken,
the unnamed stripper,
the unnamed chicken, the unnamed stripper. Yep.
But yeah, the chicken gobbles, and Stubing's like, "Well, I guess he's glad he's not a turkey."
Yep.
Freeze frame. And that's it. And that is episode 9.
Wow.
Yeah. What an episode it was. Totals and a recap. King of the Mountain. Our current leaders. Best episode is episode 3. That is the cruise ship Casanova and Captain Dave. And our worst episode so far is last week's episode 8. That's with Philip Drummond eating peanuts in a locked room. And the ghost of Jimmy Walker. So that was that's where we're at. So Michael, any changes there based on this episode?
Zero changes. Zero changes. It's not the worst, but dear God, it's nowhere near the best.
No, a lot of middling action here. I think we kind of talked about it. I think if you had one more good storyline here,
it would have been all right.
Move up.
I agree. I agree.
And the Tony's family or the blind. You can't have both.
No, you can't have both. Yeah, I agree.
Jimmy,
I would have loved. I would say this. I would love to see without the woman. The vision. Imagine if the Jimmy Walker was there, I think it would have made it for a really strong episode. But
So you're
I don't know
saying
if
like
you
the
want to.
family becomes the more heartfelt one,
That's
and you
it.
have like a straight up kind of goofy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that.
I think that would be a strong one. But
Jimmy, of the three storylines, what would you say? Did any of them not hit for you, or?
I mean, I would say that the minister and the stripper, the part about it that hit was obviously not those two. It was the couple and how much they went to great lengths to let you know that, what is her name? Barbara?
Yeah.
Yeah. That Barbara is a bitch. She's just a nice person. And who's it? Bert? Is that the husband? What's the husband's name?
No, Phil.
Phil was obviously has a gambling problem and has been trying to get away from her for quite some time now. And this episode, they all leave happy, but I don't feel like they're all going to be happy for very much longer. This is nothing about that. Nothing about any of those people is going to work out well, because Roz is going to get back to wherever, this commune this minister runs. And he's like, look, we got to get away from these people, especially her. So let's go to Vegas and you can start a new ministry there. And I can get back into my true line of profession, since I don't have a name.
Which seems important.
Yeah.
like, please welcome to the stage.
A girl.
A
pair of legs.
Captain of the week, Mike. Captain of the week.
Just based on effort is where I'm going this week, and based on effort, I have to go with Larry Storch for his prideful speeches and soliloquies as Tony Santini. No choice.
I think we gave Storch the captain.
I think so. I love Larry Storch.
Jimmy.
I mean, Tony's the only choice here. It's the working man getting screwed over by the captain and whichever shadow corporation owns this company, this unit where they don't let people celebrate Thanksgiving with their holidays. Yeah.
I am going to go with Mr. Phil Sharp. Excellent gambler. He won twice.
Fair enough.
Strong convictions. Quick to threaten divorce to get what he wants. And snappy dresser. I think he ended up winning the day.
If he heard this, he would love that. Like every one of those points you hit, he'd be like, nailed it. Right.
So we're not giving an award to the guy that left his blind wife to fend for herself on the boat.
Not this award.
Just want to make sure we're all in agreement on that.
At the end of the day, they were dancing on the dance floor. All's well that ends well. Sort
of.
Walk the plank. Worst of the week, Jimmy.
The kid. Get the kid off the boat. No kids on the boat.
Oh, not even the boat? Get out of the casino. Get off the boat.
Yeah, we got dinghies or life rafts or something on this thing. Just put them in there, give them the chicken, point them towards the shore.
If you're going to have a kid be that unemotional and unemotive,
there's nothing.
And he's Italian, right? Just have it where he can't speak
English or something. He's got to sing.
Exactly. Right. So you don't have to say a word.
Right. Yeah. Or he's a mute. Or it's Tiny Tim, but for Thanksgiving. Mike.
Minus that pesky.
You could give him a little organ grinder and a monkey.
Sometimes this fruit is pretty low hanging, but it is deserved. From the beginning of the episode, Steubing just pawned off his responsibilities on Julie to fix this, to fix that. He's just a stiffly Stifferson when it came to paying for things. Yet he volunteered to pay. He stole that guy's moment with his wife. He just stinks, man. He just stinks.
Yeah.
I have the same thing. And I feel like it's very rare when we both have. I mean, you always have Steubing, but I feel like it's rare when I have it too. I think it's deserved. And I didn't even think about the steal in the moment with the wife.
Oh, it bugged me. Yeah. That was a big moment.
I think the dumping it on Julie and then not empowering her to, like, I'll take
execute.
This one. Yeah. Right. Like, Julie did a great job of getting that boat out of
Julie solved
port.
the problem.
Julie did more to get that boat moving than he's ever done.
Well, they should have been like, no, we don't owe you 1,500. You owe us however much everybody's on board. Because if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't be going anywhere, Meryl.
Like the grandmother should have put the Kavorka on. We're just not trying here, guys.
No.
Yeah, another walk the plank. Honestly, a little bit of the writers. There's some laziness there. Not naming the character.
Not a shining example.
There were some there were definitely some holes in this week.
Yeah.
Usually intricately plotted episodes.
Oh, like a Lord of the Rings. Yeah, no, but it was just lazy. You could feel the laziness.
Yeah.
No offense, guys.
That is Totals and a recap for this week.
Let me go ahead and check the old mailbag real quick and see what we have just check. We have email.
Excellent.
Message. I'll just read the message. I love your Love Boat podcast. I'm still catching up on all the episodes, but every episode so far has me laughing my head off. I was at an antique shop and I bought a vintage Love Boat coffee mug. Keep up the wonderful work. Cheers, Helen. Thanks, Helen. Appreciate the feedback. And it got me thinking too. I wonder what kind of merch they had in late 70s for the Love Boat.
It all
Probably
had
not
lead.
action figures.
A lot of lead. Just everything had lead in it.
Lead ashtrays, Coke mirrors. Sure.
Yeah. They had you could get an action figure, right, for those five? Or a color form?
I would think. Or even do they make a Funko Pop?
Shrinky Dink?
You get a picture frame that's just a portal.
Oh, that's good.
Or a mirror that's the portal.
That's the portal.
That's actually
that one.
Which could also be a Coke mirror. So
you can put it on the side of the mug, so you're looking at yourself while you're drinking.
That should be in our merch store.
I like that one.
You can get the Audrey Wilder cane in our merch store.
Yeah.
1 of 6.
Yeah.
Anything to plug, sir?
Yeah. Absolutely hammered on the Hidden Season Patreon. We're into September. We're into the pennant race. So listen to us talk about the Phillies and other stuff every Wednesday.
And you can find us anywhere and everywhere you listen to and download your audio podcast. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music. And we have all of our audio podcasts on YouTube, as well as the video versions. Please subscribe, leave a comment. You can find
our faces.
What's that?
In case you don't want to see our faces.
Yeah, if you want to see the faces, we're there. But you can find us on Instagram. Follow us, the Love Boat Project. We're also on Facebook. Follow us there. And let me say this: I as far as next time. A pizza-based bet to see who can get a date with Julie.
Pizza-based?
Pizza-based bet. A bet over pizza.
Okay. A lot of gambling on this boat.
A lot of gambling. Well, remember Harry Morgan? I haven't seen people eat pizza on the boat yet, but we'll see what happens here. Maybe it's like over a New York pizza versus a.
I'm already.
Well, this is what they kidnapped Tony's family, and they now have a pizza oven in the rig.
They installed a brick pizza oven. Mm-hmm. And then the next sort of teaser, Beth Donovan doesn't feel comfortable being around people that are different than her. So let's do this. Let's throw in a couple who happen to be little people and see what happens. That is next time on Love Boat Project.
Oh man. That could get dicey.
Yeah, we'll have to be
can't wait.
There's a lot there. There. No guests next week. Speaking of, Jimmy, any last thoughts before we throw you overboard?
No, man. I just, as always, Julie is going above and beyond, and the captain kind of sucks,
Yeah, it's funny. You've been going for a whole year, Jimmy, and you come back, and it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. The workers are what's keeping this boat afloat. The captain is just taking all the profits, all the turkey dinners, taking all the credit for things that he is not doing. And,
That's right. You know what, Merrill? People at the Princess Line don't even know your name, bub.
Yeah. No, you're just a social security number, Merrill. Yeah.
Dust in the wind, Merrill Stewing.
Smoke in the wheel.
You chose the sea, sir. You chose it.
What if I live on land?
What are these round things that vehicles are pushed by? Those are wheels, Merrill.
I will say he was much less creepy this week than he was last week as a new father. So, but
we'll see. We'll see.
Not quite.
Well, they kept him away from the kid, so
that's true. Actually, that's actually a good point. So,
yeah.
Anyway, thanks for joining us, Jimmy. Thanks for listening, everybody. We have apparently a very interesting episode next week, so we'll talk to you for episode 35. Otherwise, thanks for listening.